As we get going into some of the details of how we start using the Bollinger Bands, I want to remind you of the 5 steps to trade confirmation. We teach these 5 steps in pretty much everything we do here at TradeSmart. And the reason is because it's a good, broad overview of the process that a trader needs to go through in determining their trade. So let me remind you real fast. The 5 steps to trade confirmation are: number 1, to identify your support and resistance. Next, you need to identify your trend, your chart patterns, your candlestick patterns, and of course, your technical indicators. Now, why do we have all 5 of them? Because each step of the trade confirmation process reveals a different perspective, a different angle on that trade. Well, here's what's really cool about Bollinger Bands. You know, typically when we talk about the 5 steps, when we talk about support and resistance, we use our line analysis. When we talk about the identification of the trend, we use our moving averages. Watch this. With our Bollinger Bands, we can actually use Bollinger Bands to take out those first 2 steps, the support and resistance and the identification of the trend. So we can combine those 2 steps into one quick snapshot on the chart. You can look at the snapshot of the Bollinger Bands. You can say, here's where the next resistance area may start to show up. And you can look at the moving average inside the bands. You can look at the trend trade there, and you can see where those trends are shaping up. And so for a lot of you, it's a way of streamlining some of this process of the 5 steps of trade confirmation. You still end up doing the 5 steps, but we're streamlining it and we're doing it a lot faster here. So let's talk about the idea of the indicator versus the overlay. Bollinger Bands are like indicators in the sense that they derive all of their signals from the open, the high, the low, and the closing information. But they're different than your typical indicators because they're presented as an overlay. Now, what do I mean as an overlay? Most of your indicators are drawn at the bottom of the screen. With the Bollinger Bands, it's drawn on your chart as an overlay over the basic price action of the chart itself. The reason for that is because that's where you need to see the relative highs and lows. But it presents a little bit of a different presentation and a little bit different functionality here. It's going to work a little bit more like the Ichimoku clouds than an indicator itself. We still get signals from it, obviously, but again, it's laying right on top of the chart rather than underneath the chart, as you would typically see, for example, a stochastics indicator or an RSI indicator that would be drawn across the bottom of the chart. Now, here's another cool thing about the overlays. Most of your overlay systems can actually replace some other techniques, and we see that happening here with the Bollinger Bands. As I've already mentioned, it can replace some of your support and resistance lines. It can replace the moving averages if you want it to, because it's all kind of contained right there inside that system. Let's take a look over here at First Solar again and look at this price action that you see. If you just look at this chart on its own, you may think to yourself, wow, I don't even know where to start trading this thing. Well, watch what happens when we overlay the Bollinger Bands. Boom. There it is. Now we've got some structure, and you can see immediately, okay, I've got structure up here at the top. I've got some resistance coming in here. I've got, this is where some selling pressure is starting to show up. Even if you don't have the lines, your bands do help to provide some structure there, and you start to see some structure. Inside the trend itself, you notice that there is a moving average in here, inside the bands, I should say, and that starts to help get some clarification as to the trend inside that move there. So the Bollinger Bands as an overlay are a great tool because they start to bring some of this stuff together and give you some clarification.